Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. All right, let's see what we got for you right now. If you like sports cars that it doesn't take away an arm and a leg in your wallet, maybe this was probably one of those in back in the 70s, like other models like the Toyota Supra, or although then we got the European brands like the expensive Porsche. These were more accessible sports cars, a lot cheaper, but they look attractive too. Well, let's see what we got for you right now. We have a 143 scale resin model made by High Story 1979 Mitsubishi Lancer Celeste 2000 GT. Now, the Celeste model for the Lancer was basically representing the, it was like a hatchback, sporty hatchback that was basically part of the Lancer models. They started being made in 1975, but then they ran a little differently from the regular Mitsubishi Lancer. They were not restyled at the same time as the sedan would be, because back in 1979, when this model that we have in front of us, that's when the second generation of the Mitsubishi Lancer came out, but this model was still being represented. But these had a facelift a few years. I mean, they had one 1978. So they were being refreshed, but they didn't run at the same pace as the sedan of the Lancer. If you understand what I'm saying, literally, it was part of the Lancer model as a hatchback, but it still had their own little representation, and they didn't run on the refreshing looks at the same time as the sedan would do, basically, from what I understood. In other parts of the world, these cars were called Chrysler. I know in the United States they were sold, if I'm not mistaken, as Plymouth, but they were basically sold in Australia as a Chrysler Lancer. And as I'm looking right now, in North America, these were sold as Dodge Arrow in Canada, and it was a bit different in the looks. Actually, it was refreshed. And also in the United States, they were sold as the Plymouth Arrow. Engine wise, guys, let's get to the engines. Now, the engines on these boys, you had a 1.6 four cylinder, and you also had a 2.0 four cylinder. And then the transmissions, you had a 5-speed manual transmission, or you also had a 3-speed automatic. Now, the ones that I'm talking right now for transmission and for engines were only for the Celeste model. I'm not going by the regular Lancer, because I noticed that it was running, sharing the name, but at the same time, this by having a bit different, you know, following. It had the Celeste attached to it, which it totally opened up like a side door for this model with different years made and everything. It's a little complicated story because usually when brands share the model name, usually it's the same or very similar in looks. And when the sedan is being remodeled, the station wagon also, and the sports car also. But in this case, they were not like that. All right, after giving you all that confusing story, which I even got confused, but hopefully you got something clear out of it. I'm gonna go around a few times and I'll be right back. Alright, guys. One thing I was reading about this that I find it quite peculiar, quite strange. This car is one of the most. I'm going to read how it says it in Wikipedia. It says one of the more interesting options available for the Arrow, which it was the way they call them in North America, that it provided a small tent. When the rear seats were lowered and the tent was flipped over the hatchback, it will allow the back of the car to be used as a camping, which is quite strange, especially for a sports car. General Motors, by the way, so you know, would borrow this design many years after when they came out with the Pontiac Aztek. If you're familiar with the Pontiac Aztek, it had the same system. You open the rear hatch and you had this special tent, and it would be like a little camping tent for you. I like those when it gives you, but in sports car, wow, I'm very shocked they gave you a option like that. All right, guys, don't forget to give me that beautiful thumbs up. I really, really appreciate. Thank you so much for doing those. It shows me that you're interested in these videos as much as I'm interested in making them. Which you know, I always say, you share what you like, and I share what I like to do, and we all share our passions, and you let me know in the comments below what would you like to see and all that. All right, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to click and subscribe also, and the bell next to the subscribe button. Take care of yourselves more than ever, and goodbye.